Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
We are good to go
Good to go.
on this wonderful Saturday. Get back into the podcast mindset.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we recorded, and it feels like
forever.
Yeah. I was sick last week.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel well enough to wake up
And talk for an hour.
an hour and a half. Yeah. Yep. Didn't feel like it.
Understandable. I think you're allowed to take a day off
Yeah.
of this unpaid job. So
Just means we have to go an extra 1 week at the end of the.
oh,
You know.
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, I during my time being sick
You had some many hours to self-reflect and
and watch TV.
yes, it's good opportunity for that.
Yeah, I did actually watch a decent amount of TV since the last time we've spoken. I finished one show. I finished The Lincoln Lawyer.
Okay.
It's on Netflix. It's a legal crime drama.
All right.
It's
Windows updates. Pending. We're still good.
We're good.
Okay. That'll just look really funny on the camera. Like, and we're back to normal.
Yeah, finished that show.
Lincoln Lawyer. Okay.
I just finished it yesterday, actually, and it was fantastic.
All right. Little not documentary style, but
It was just a crime drama.
yeah, just dramatized.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a crime drama, except with legal.
In the courthouse.
Yeah, it was good.
Sure.
Solid show. I'd recommend if you're looking for
entertaining enough. Yeah.
a binge show. Just to. It's not like I'm not going to claim it's like a masterpiece of cinema,
Yeah.
right?
In my expert opinion,
No, but like
this is the best show ever made. No, it's fine.
no, like super good though, right?
Cool. Yeah.
The show I will nominate for one of the best shows ever made, both artistically and storyline and adaptation. I think this show should always win 100% best video game adaptation ever.
Yeah.
Like out of any forever. Like 100%.
That's not qualified. I mean, the show was made 10 years ago or whatever. Like,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's absolutely a perfect show, and that is Arcane.
Arcane.
League of Legends Arcane. What do they call it? It's
Just maybe League of Legends Arcane, because that's the video game. It's
I think
from.
Isn't the
but
title like Netflix and League of Legends Arcane or something like that?
Netflix presents
I
League
don't
of
know.
Legends.
Arcane. The Netflix original show.
Yeah.
Based off the League of Legends. The
loosely based off of.
Yeah, the characters exist in League of Legends.
Yeah, they have one page on the Wikipedia about the lore of each character.
Yeah. I think it is the best TV show adaptation ever, for sure.
Yeah.
It's up in the running for best TV show ever, in my opinion.
It is good.
The first season, as you know, you've watched the first season. This is the first half of the second season that I've finished.
That you've seen? Okay.
I haven't seen the last part yet.
Fascinating.
I believe it's out.
It is out, because I just started the first part of season 2. I think I did 3 episodes.
Which was the first
Yeah,
part?
the first trilogy of
The first
episodes.
3, yeah. I think it's been a couple of years.
Yeah, it was like 2020 was
it really 2020?
I'm almost positive, yeah.
Wow.
It's been a while.
I feel like I just was able to go right back into the story. I didn't watch the first season again.
Maybe
2021, right?
Maybe 2021. Season 1 release date. It was 2021. Okay. So it's been 3 years in between seasons. Still long, but
It was very long. I thought the way they were able to remind you of the story details.
yeah, that was nice. There's like a couple little things here and there so far where it's like, I wish I would have rewatched season 1.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it's, for the most part, I'm still like, boom, I'm in the world.
What did you think of, in my opinion, and I didn't remember this from season 1, and so maybe this is something that have changed. I should go back and watch season 1 again. It was a lot more, and I don't say this in a negative way, but artsy fartsy.
Okay.
Right? It was a lot more visually artistic.
Season 1 was?
No, season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
In my opinion, where it's like they're bringing, like, during some of like the montages, it was like very abstract and a little bit more. I don't know if you.
I agree. Yes, I was noticing,
but not in a bad way.
No.
I thought it was I thought it was very good, actually.
Yeah. I did enjoy. I don't know. It just looks like the animators are having fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think so far, from what I've seen, the way that they've done the relationships with all of the characters, including all of the homosexual stuff,
sure,
is like class A.
It's like tasteful.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It doesn't feel like it's a forced.
No.
Like, the message. It doesn't feel like the message, right?
No,
it feels like the story that's being presented in a very, very.
It's progressing.
It was.
Even the homosexual relationships, but like all the relationships are well written.
Yes. Yeah.
They're like, so it's believable. You're in the story. You're enjoying it.
Whereas most of the time, in my opinion, and this is for most relationships, but especially the homosexual relationships in TV shows,
they can just.
It's always like,
forced.
There is a homosexual relationship. I don't need to write it. It's great because it's a homosexual relationship.
Yeah.
It's not a great relationship writing because it's great relationship writing, right?
Yeah.
It's just, look, it's a homosexual. They're gay.
Look, our token gays.
That's like the whole relationship is just them being gay.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, it's like just an aspect of this well-crafted relationship, I guess.
Oh, and it's that every character you can see is going through their own arc, even on the season, their own story arc, their own development. And so it's like, some of those intertwine as a relationship at certain points, but then that's even got its like own what am I trying to say? Its own like bumps and high points. Its own lows and highs as they're on their individual character arcs.
Yeah.
Things are woven together very nicely.
I really love how they show those relationships intertwined with like the passage of time.
Yeah.
The way they do the passage of time in this show is so stellar.
Right. Yeah.
And it shows in these nonverbal music background montages.
Yeah, usually.
That are 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They show this, years worth of relationship in just like a perfect way. Yeah,
even between season 1 and season 2, there's like a little bit of a time skip, and they show that kind of a montagey thing at the beginning of the first episode.
Yeah. And the introduction of new characters doesn't feel forced. The way that the characters act seems rational and reasonable for the most part. Yeah,
even though it's like
it makes sense, right? Like,
there's a couple like questions I have so far, but I'm like, but this is Arcane. I know my questions are going to be answered by the end. Like they've already earned my trust from season 1, because there's one like the one buff lady from the other country. Right now, I'm like, what is her deal? Like, what is going on with her? I'm like, but they'll answer it. Right now, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'll come back to you if that doesn't. But
they get there.
I figured
they start getting there.
Again, I trusted that because I'm like, what is going on here? And then they'll jump to like, yes, he's the antagonist. Clearly, he's doing evil things. And then you're like, what are you evil too? There's no one protagonist and one antagonist. It's just the story.
Which makes it fun to watch because you're like on the edge of your seat the entire time.
I'm watching it with my wife, and she constantly says like, we're just along for the ride. Like, as you're watching the show, it is fun. You're along for the ride. And I'm trying to like put it into these molds of like, but he's the good guy and he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not. You're there for the ride.
Well, and they show how politics works really well because there's everyone thinks they're the good guy.
Sure.
And everyone always thinks they're the good guy.
But everyone has their motivations. Everyone has like the lobbyists or whatever behind the scenes who are really pulling your strings. Like everyone's got that. Yeah.
Well, and like the queen from the other country.
Yeah. I don't remember her name, but she's a new champion in League of Legends now.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
She's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Like she's a badass in the show. It's really fun because it's a MOBA.
Ambessa.
I just
remembered. Yep.
I'm trying to remember the country.
The country is Nox. Pretty sure.
No, was it?
Yeah, I think she's from Knox.
It could be.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really fun. Some of the montages or some of like the scenes, I'm like, oh, they like still added video game elements. Or it's like there's a group of 5 people there. There's a hunter, a mage, a jungler, a tank of some, a guardian, for lack of I don't know what they call them in League.
The support.
Support. Yeah. And then what am I missing here? A warrior of some
sort, the warrior.
Right? And it's like, oh, that's fun.
That's the team. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, anytime there's a battle on screen, my wife and I will be like, "No, Kate, you can't do that. You're an AD carry. Like, you're gonna get beat by her. She's clearly a warrior." Or when Jinx is using her weapons, her stuff, we're like, "Oh no, there's her Q. Like, you're dead." Like when she pulls out the minigun or whatever, like, oh man. And she's got the rocket launcher, like, oh no, the shark rocket launcher, she's gonna get you. Like,
is that the ult?
Yeah, we recognize all these moves. And because she used the rocket launcher, then she like reloaded again real fast. I was like, how is her ult already off cooldown?
Yeah.
So it's fun little snippets if you've played the game or know.
But it's not like a video game. Like, oh man, that's like a video game move.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
If you know how a MOBA works, like you understand how it's going down. You know? It's really fun.
The action scenes are fun, even if you haven't played video games. But there's that extra little flavor bit. Yeah. Especially when Vi got her gloves. I don't think that's a spoiler. That's in like episode 1. It was like, oh yeah, because that's what she looks like in the games. She finally got the like magic tech gloves.
Yeah, I think she had them in season 1 too.
Yeah, and then they put them down. They were like, oh, that's bad. We're not allowed to use that. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But everybody uses that in the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see more. Yeah.
It's I might have to nominate it as my personal best TV show ever.
Best show. I'm
definitely
really...
best animated show ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But to be honest, most animated shows make up like a strong portion of my top shows ever.
Yeah, right.
I hadn't thought of that until now, but that's interesting.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my wholehearted recommendation. 9.89 out of 10.
5G podcast recommends. Seal of approval.
Yeah.
Arcane season 2 so far is pretty good.
I'd be interested to see the Critical Drinker review Arcane.
Oh yeah, he did season 1. I remember 3 years ago. Yeah, he loved it.
I didn't realize he had,
because the writing is phenomenal, and he is a writer. So like,
you've read any of his books?
I haven't actually. No,
I should.
I might grab them on audiobook or something. They're kind of like spy thrillers. So
yeah.
But yeah, Arcane. If season 2 like totally goes off the rails in the last 3 episodes, we'll come back and we'll addend this next week. But like,
so far,
it's at least as good as season 1, probably. So far, I guess I don't know. Yeah. I didn't really like season 1.
Season 1 was amazing.
So I'll hold my judgment. But
yeah, I'll finish this whole season.
If it's at least close to season 1, that's good.
So far,
it's good enough.
In my opinion, surpassing season 1.
Yeah.
But that might be nostalgic, like, or not nostalgia, but like, I know I loved season 1, and so like, it's still
it changed your perspective on every other show since then.
It's not detracting from season 1's my enjoyment of season 1 yet. So I'm a fan.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Everyone should watch it.
Arcane.
I'm gonna try to get my wife to watch it as soon as.
Yeah, no, that's even people don't normally watch animated shows or anime. Like it's not
anime.
It's a phenomenal show.
It's a live action show, but just animated.
Just animated.
It doesn't feel like a cartoon.
Yeah, whereas they can still take some artistic liberties because it's an animation, as you described, with some of the montages or some of the artsy scenes of like, I don't know, even some of the combat that can show like almost stills or slow motion really well, just to show off like, look, art, it's pretty.
And it is. It's a gorgeous show. It's gorgeous.
I'll say that's the one like negative headline I saw. I've stayed all away from spoilers, which has been good. But the one negative thing, they're like, Arcane season 2 cost $250 million. I can't believe they're so bad at handling their money or whatever. And you're like, yeah, that's a lot of money to spend on like one season, but I don't know if it looks good. It looks good, and it'll earn them a lot of money back. Like
I think it's fine
compared to like Hollywood big budget movies that overspend for 2 hours of content. They had to pay for 10 hours of animators.
Yeah,
That's a lot
for sure.
So and good animators.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not cheap animation.
Mm-hmm.
It solves the what is the uncanny valley problem.
Oh yeah,
They don't have any of that.
where animation can kind of look a little fake.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it looks good. It looks realistic.
Yeah, I love it. That's my takeaway.
Yep.
I hope there's a season 3.
I don't know actually. I think I heard season 2. I think is supposed to end
The story.
This story of this group of characters.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it does well, I'd heard talks and discussion that they were going to make
Offshoots.
Yeah, maybe not Arcane, but another League of Legends Netflix crossover with the same exact team, same universe.
Sure.
So, yeah, because I need to see some more Yordles. I got to get my Yordle representation in there.
Yordle?
The little alien-looking dudes, Heimerdinger.
Oh, yeah.
That's their race. Is called the Yordles.
Gotcha.
Like,
yeah, he's a fun character.
There's only Heimerdinger. There's tons of Yordles in the game.
Is there?
Yeah. One of my favorites was a little blue Yordle. He's got like blue fur. His name was Rumble, and he was Rumble in the jungle. That was a skin I had for him, but he was a jungler, so he was a pretty cool guy.
Heimerdinger's a hunter.
No, he's a mage.
Mage?
Yeah. He hasn't really done much in the show, but in the game, he always builds turrets. And the turrets shoot.
Kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to, every time I think of League of Legends, I have to
compare it
to Smite.
Yeah.
Just because I have so much, I've never played League of Legends.
No. Jace is cool as well. I played a lot of Jace.
He's a warrior.
He's a warrior and a mage. His hammer actually swaps between ranged and melee.
That's pretty
whenever
sick.
you want, and so it's cool. He doesn't have an ult. He just swaps his hammer mode. So that was even another time in this show. My wife was like, "No, you gotta press E first, and then you shoot through it," because he like drops a little gate, and then if he shoots his projectile through the gate, it like accelerates and goes faster.
Interesting.
So there's one time he was like aiming his hammer, and he's like, "Oh no, the timing is so tense." He was like, "Dude, just drop your gate first, and then it's super fast projectile." But yeah, good show.
I recommend.
Don't recommend the game. It was a different time, and I enjoyed the lore and then the story.
There was a funny post that I saw. Who was it? It was basically it was very funny, and it rang true a little bit. It was League of Legends is the maximum security detention facility for all the toxic gamers in the world.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that Tencent owns.
Yeah, they own
Tencent
Riot.
is just a massive like public service company to like keep all the toxic gamers in some just contained field of toxicity so that they don't infiltrate the rest of the gaming world.
Right. Like, hey, what's this on your tax write-off? Oh, that's for like public services.
Yeah.
Trust us. Trust us. Yeah, that is pretty good. Like just keep them there, keep them happy with some updates every couple months, and they'll be none the wiser.
I thought that was very funny.
That's clever. Even League players would be like, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Keep all the toxic players contained.
Yeah.
Don't let them bleed out.
Yeah. So I thought that was very, very funny.
Yep. That is, if like Xbox Live had its, Call of Duties back in the day, back on the Xbox 360 or whatever, all the toxicity and the slurs or whatever, League of Legends was that for PC, or it was just a natural progression of that as well. But every rude word known to man, every toxicity,
I'm sure slurs have been created.
Yeah,
in those lobbies,
just for League of Legends, because you can't talk to the other team, so you can only smack talk your own team, and you got to channel that energy somewhere.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah.
Toxicity in games makes me laugh sometimes.
Oh, right.
And I'm sure I've done it.
You're like, this is a cooperative game.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be working together.
Yeah. Well, did you want to talk about Steam being incredibly based?
Oh, yeah. Big Steam news?
Yeah. I saw the other day, Steam hasn't come out with an announcement. that is very, very consumer friendly. I don't know. Did you see this?
I think so. I heard a couple things about Steam, so carry on.
They had a terms and conditions update for people who are posting games. How would you publishing games using theirs
on Steam?
And basically it was an anti-crappy company clause.
Sure, yeah, I think so.
Right, where most of it had to do with like DLC / Game Pass, like Battle Pass type stuff, right? And now, if you are going to pre-sell a DLC of any type, and they define Battle Passes as a DLC because you pay for in-game content,
advanced content as well, or
pre-orders, right? Anything like that. If you're going to do any sort of pre-order, there's like a couple of things that you have to do. Basically, you have to tell everyone what's in the bundle that you're buying, right? So if it's a Battle Pass, you have to tell them, oh, it's this many skins, this many new weapons, this new map or whatever, this X, Y, and Z. Right?
Which, glad they're cracking down on that legally, so it's not gambling. Like, it's a problem with loot boxes.
And then you have to tell it has to come out on a specific date.
Oh, okay. And
you have to do it, and you can be vague about the date, right? So if you say first quarter 2025,
spring,
right? It has to be first quarter 2025.
Okay.
And they allow you to revise that once by 3 months.
Sure.
So it's like, which is understandable. It's like, we had some development difficulties.
Yeah.
So now we're releasing, 2 months later than anticipated. We're sorry. Steam allows you to do that, no problems.
Okay.
But if it's any further than that,
you got to give people refunds.
You either have to talk with Steam to get it approved.
Okay.
Or Steam will force you to refund everyone. Basically.
Wow. And then it's like, then you'd have to start over with like, here's the date, please pre-order the new date. Yeah.
And so if you don't comply with any of these new rules, refunds,
to the consumers.
DLC refunds, which is crazy.
That's impressive.
And so I saw a video of some guy going over like games that have had DLC or big pre-order updates or whatever, right?
But they've just been on pre-order indefinitely. I'm sure there's a lot like that.
Well, and so it also is for games in beta or like early access or anything like that as well.
Yeah.
So, but they're going over a bunch of these different games that have been successful, right? Like one of them that he mentioned was City Skylines.
Oh, okay.
Which is a reasonably successful game.
Yeah.
There was like Chivalry 2 or something like that as well.
Oh, maybe. That sounds familiar. Yeah, I think that one was probably in early access for a bit.
Anyway, there was he went through a bunch of these different games and was like, this one passed the smell check or whatever, right?
The new rules.
A lot of games fail. A lot of games have failed that rule set, and so now they're going to have to start. This is a new rule, but their previous releases all were failing, and so now they're going to have to get their act together. And I guess my question to you is, what do you think of this? Do you think this is something that Steam is doing out of necessity? Do you think it's something that Steam is doing out of principle? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Or do you think that they're influencing the market and this might prop up bad video game companies? That might be a little bit of a leading question.
Sure. I definitely think it's a good thing. And as far as the first question, it's probably a mix of necessity, and I do generally think Steam is pretty good and pretty consumer friendly.
I agree.
We missed it 2 weeks ago, but they gave away Half-Life 2 for free for the 20th anniversary. And now they don't, but it's also only ever $10, and it's on sale right now for the next month, probably for $2. So
80% off.
Great game though. The evolution of first-person shooters. But so I generally think Steam is a good company, or Valve. But I do think it's maybe also covering bases, like I said, a little bit of legality.
Mhm.
Like, even like literally U.S. government lawmakers have been kind of thinking about the gambling in video games for a while. It's a topic that's come up, of like, okay, there's kids involved here, and you're selling them hidden things that they don't know what they're paying for. Like, that's gambling. That's illegal in most places, and definitely to kids in all places.
Yeah.
And so a lot of game companies were doing that, as far as like, yeah, it's the early access season 2 battle pass. Buy $50 now, and we'll give it to you, guaranteed. But you don't know what it is, what's in it. So I think that is probably Valve as a platform for other publishers legally is trying to be like, as a platform, we're not allowing the gambling. We're not allowing the underage like unawareness of purchases. Just fun, interesting that comes to my mind to compare to, because I don't really like buying things without knowing what I'm getting anyway, or with no guarantee. It sounds dumb, but I know some people do, because Kickstarter is a huge thing for like board games. The whole board game community is Kickstarter. And so you always, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, this sounds like a cool thing, I'll drop $50 on that. And then you don't get anything for like a year and a half, 2 years off Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But I think Kickstarter, again, is a platform that allows publishers to come on and present their stuff. I think they have pretty good rules about, you need to list exactly what's in your package.
Yeah.
So I think they either have had this problem in the past, or they just planned ahead, and they knew.
I agree with your example. I will say that there's a difference in sentiment on comparatively, right? For Kickstarter, you understand this is a starting thing.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
This is not like you go into Kickstarter or into these, crowdfunding sites, and you're like,
fund a new thing.
Yeah. And like, if this doesn't get funded, there's no guarantee of me getting this stuff.
No,
right?
that's fair. Yeah.
That you go in with that understanding, right? On the video game side, it's like, you can pre-order a game, but you know what you're getting. You're getting the game.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're pre-ordering it, you've hopefully seen, advertisements and like information about it. It's not like, oh, by the way, this random new company, I'm releasing a game.
Yeah.
But I'm not telling you what it is. Pre-order it for $75. It's like,
no.
How about no? Right? Like, no one's going to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're pre-ordering a game, you understand what you're getting. You're getting this game that you supposedly think you're going to like.
Sure.
Right? But then with the DLC stuff,
the new one
like,
is just DLC.
Season 4 Battle Pass. You should pre-order it. It comes out sometime.
You need the Battle Pass. Everybody gets the Battle Pass.
Okay, but like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, this is $50. And what are we getting for that $50? It's like, oh, well, this $50 is either going to be super awesome, and it's going to be 7 new guns, 7 new skins, 7 new battle maps, 7 new whatever, or it's going to be 1 cosmetic hat that you get to put on for $50.
If you complete the Battle Pass.
Yeah. And it's like,
yeah, you're right. That example there is like, you got to tell me what's in the Battle Pass, like guaranteed.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I think, yeah.
So
for DLCs or any advanced sales, yeah, because I'm not super keen on when it's just a game, right? I'm not keen already on the like buying into the early access, like pay us to beta test our game.
Yeah, no.
So I'm definitely not into like, pay us and we'll maybe deliver a product. Like, that's even worse.
Yeah, there are certain things where like I think that game companies, if they are going to do a alpha or a beta, testing phase, right? I think they should make the game like half off.
Sure, yeah.
And then because you were a beta tester,
you get some extra cosmetics, some extra perks.
Or like you are a beta tester, or you bought the game before it was finished, and so you had to struggle through stuff. And so, yeah, when the game actually finally drops, you get the game for half off, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were one that was testing it for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Reasonable.
We've mentioned Satisfactory, which is what I've played right now. I had 400 something hours on that game.
Early access?
In the early access.
Yeah.
In 0.8, you know? Now it's in 1.1 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like a new game effectively for me. There's so much new content, but I bought it, and I bought it full price basically.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think I got it on a sale, but like,
sure,
you know.
No, a lot of times they'll do like the early access price will be lower than their like release price.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how I got Minecraft back in the day.
Sure.
At $10 or $15 back in the beta.
Yeah. 25 now? 20?
Yeah, I think it's 25 now, yeah.
I saw a very funny meme speaking of Minecraft.
All things lead back to Minecraft.
It does. It was very funny. It was a video of like is it Sisyphus who pushes the stone up the mountain continually? It was a video of Sisyphus or a meme of Sisyphus just like at the top of the mountain, just like dying and sweating, and it says Mojang developer after adding a new type of horse to Minecraft.
Yeah, right.
And it's like I'm sure you could run the company of Mojang with like 7 people.
Yeah.
Like 2 people to develop the horses and the other weird animals.
New update, new content.
And then like an accountant or 2 and like
the CEO, what's his name? Oh no, I guess he already sold it. Yeah. The OG guy.
Oh,
to Microsoft, yeah.
Not Herobrine, Notch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a simple game, simple formula.
But it makes so much money every year.
Yeah.
Like
insane.
Anyway.
The Steam thing I thought you were going to point out was that some Ubisoft executive came out this week and said, Steam, have you thought about hiding the player numbers? Because we think that's negatively skews consumers or whatever. I saw
that headline. I didn't read into it though.
Wait, you want to censor information from consumers, from the public? Why? Because we released Star Wars Outlaws on Steam and it's not doing well.
No Ubisoft game has done well. Like
no,
what Ubisoft game has done well in the recent past? I feel like every time we talk about a flop, it's an Ubisoft game.
This year has been Ubisoft flopping like a fish.
There was one game that they released that I thought was good.
I mean, they still have a couple legacy games, like Rainbow Six Siege is still doing all right, but their recent patch was kind of a weird flop.
Oh, with the freaking wheelchair chick or guy or whatever.
They've done good Assassin's Creeds that have done well commercially.
Except this new one's going to be a flop.
They've pushed back Assassin's Creed Shadows to next year, so we'll see when that one comes out.
But I feel like every time we talk about a crappy video game this year, it's been
I've enjoyed Ubisoft games, but it's just in the past. Yeah. So that was a funny thing. And Steam was like, no, we're not going to hide the player numbers. That's like an important metric. You track player counts across the week and on the weekends for every game. Here's the top 10 games with the most players. And I'm like, people love that.
Yeah.
People like statistics and they like seeing, what games are popular. How many people are playing right now? If I'm going to buy a multiplayer game, I need to see how popular is this game? How many people are playing online? Stuff like that. So it's very necessary. It's very cool. I wish we had more numbers like that, more obvious on like for the console gamers too. Like you see how many people are online each game.
Yeah.
Steam is very open about that. Like, no, all the data's there. Let people make informed decisions after giving them the information they need.
Yeah, I agree. I wish there was a way that there was because you can go to like steamdb.com or whatever.
Yeah.
See all like the concurrent players and stuff like that.
Yep.
I wish there was a way where you could aggregate all of the PSN and Xbox.
Yep. Xbox
Pass.
Yeah.
What do they call their
Xbox Live is what it used to be. I don't know what it's called now.
The Xbox service, whatever
Xbox.
it is. The Microsoft service, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was a way so you could see like, this many people worldwide are playing this game.
Yeah.
I guess you have to do it with like Epic and the GOG.
Yeah, technically, I guess.
Stuff, but like,
because those guys are growing, but I think they're still relatively small, maybe. I don't know.
Epic's a pretty decent.
They're growing.
Pretty large.
Yeah. But like back in the day on Xbox, I remember forget if it was the Call of Duties or one of the Halos or something, you could see they had like a map of the world and it had how many players are online, and it had like lights up in all the countries. It was cool. It was fun to see. You're like, I'm connected.
That is cool, actually.
You hop into a match on Halo and you're like, I'm playing with somebody from Australia or whatever.
Yeah.
It was neat. And now it's like Steam is kind of the last one that's kind of publishes all of that.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see, because then you can look at things and be like, oh, Baldur's Gate 3 still pulls in 100,000 players pretty consistently. That game is a year old and it's not dying. Like,
no. There are some people I saw recently. This will segue into our next topic, I suppose. But there are some people saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is in the running for like the best video game ever of all time.
Sure, okay.
Just because of like how successful it's been.
Yeah.
It's like if you talk to any normie who plays video games, they will have heard of at least Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. Any casual by this point knows of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair. Yeah. I can see that. Their earnings call or profit report or whatever from just Baldur's Gate 3, like just game sales this week, they said it's like, it's like $270 million. Cool. All right. Good for you guys.
They're not a public company, right?
Mm-mm. They're like 40 something people. So they're a small video game company, maybe by comparison.
Yeah.
But they are obviously bigger than your average indie company. So I don't know what category that puts them in. They're not AAA, but they're not indie. So yeah,
do like a solo dev or something like that.
Yeah, we need like a double A or something. Yeah, big indie is like a separate category, but yeah, $270 million for 40 something people at a company.
I hope all those guys get huge bonuses.
Very good. And random W for them again this week. On the last update, I think we mentioned, they said that they were done updating the game. It was like, oh, here's our 1 year anniversary back in September. We're done updating. And that was mod support. So I think that's to your point of like maybe the best video game ever is they just opened up the code and you can mod whatever you want. And people are already working on modding other campaigns, like other stories, new game play into the game. But then just this week, they were like, actually, we're going to do one more update. And they're just adding more subclasses from D&D into the game. You're like, all right, that's cool. Like, that's an easy enough update. They can probably just send one guy to code that. Like, here's the player's handbook for Dungeons and Dragons. Let's
add them all.
Let's put that one in. So it's like, there's one new subclass for each class.
That's cool.
So now you can be the death cleric. So you can get all the necromancy spells, which it had some of those, but not the full-on death cleric. All right.
Yeah, I mean, super
good for them.
Super good for them. No notes.
No notes.
It seems like a great company. I really hope that the company does good by its employees and just like gives them all a super fat bonus.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you are like on this 40-person, 50-person team, and like you make the best video game possibly of all time,
arguably ever,
and like you just get like your $75,000, $80,000 salary. It's like, I hope all of them, they've made so much money. I hope that they all get like $1 million check at the end of the year.
Right. Yeah.
I hope that they all just,
here's your Christmas bonus.
Like seriously, like if I were in that situation, and obviously I don't know the financials of the company, right? They probably had investors and all that thing.
If that's their profit and taxes and investors.
Yeah. But like, let's say that they make, after, taxes and everything like that and all their expenses,
straight
they're
profit,
at like $100 million.
Sure.
Right? It's like, okay, yeah, the investors are going to want a decent chunk of that back.
Yeah.
But like, you could literally give every employee $1 million and have $60 million left over.
Yeah,
if they're a 40-person company.
Pay the investors off and then use the remainder to just like invest into the next game or something, like
or anything like that.
Yeah.
I see, or like heck, give them all like a $250,000 bonus.
Yeah, you're right. $1 million doesn't even need to be that big. Like,
no, can you imagine if you were like, you're making $80,000 a year or whatever as a developer for this company, or less, you know, and you make this great game, and they're like, "Yep," and we're going to give you a check for $250,000.
Yeah. Ooh. Sure.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Like, that'd be crazy.
That is like, hey, thanks for your hard work. Here you go.
Be crazy. Be a lot of nice cars in that parking lot the next couple weeks after that.
Right? Yeah, that would be funny.
They're a Swedish company?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of Volvos in that parking lot.
Right? Pretty sure.
Although maybe not, because Sweden probably has pretty high taxes for that type of thing.
Oh,
since
yeah.
they're so socialist or whatever.
Right, yeah, I think so.
Anyway.
Random game related to that news from a Russian company that I thought was relevant. Because in the middle of a war, a Russian game company was able to push out a game.
Of course.
Somehow. Stalker 2 came out this week, and it's got a pretty big fan base because it's number 2. But the first game was like 10 years ago at least. But I've seen on just a little bit of the gameplay. So again, that was the first highlight of like somehow the Russian company pushed this out. Good for them, I guess. It's cool. But it looks like a pretty cool post-apocalyptic survival type game. Because you're in Russia like after a nuclear war or whatever, and so it's very kind of gritty survival. You got to do everything to like maintain your gun and mod your gun, the hunt for supplies and whatnot. It's all first person shooter-esque. I don't think it's multiplayer.
That was too bad.
Yeah, right. Like, it would make a really good multiplayer, but I think relatively small company, they just focused on
the single player aspect.
Yeah, the single player and the environment, the art looks really cool. Like you feel like you're just in the thick of it, just in this crappy like post-apocalyptic world, a la Fallout, just without sort of the campiness is what this reminds me of. Because Fallout is dark and they're really, really good with the environment, making you feel like you're there. But then sometimes they have like funny robots cracking jokes to kind of counteract that a little bit. But this one is just dark. So Stalker 2, you could look up some gameplay. I think it would be up your alley.
Definitely could be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put like another 600 hours into Satisfactory.
Right.
So
yes. Yes.
That's all I've been playing. It's literally I haven't touched a first person shooter or
yearns for the factory.
Yearn for the mines.
Yearn for the mines.
Yeah. It's. I'll have to show you what I've built of this new world.
What is automated today?
Yeah.
Satisfactory.
I haven't gotten the guns yet, though. I have one gun in Satisfactory.
How are you fighting? You just stick?
I'm building.
The cavemen? When the monsters come?
I haven't even explored the world yet. I just...
Why explore? There's so much to do here at home.
There is. Like, I need coal. I find coal, and then I'm done. I don't need to explore anymore.
We're not going out 10 feet outside my walls. That's it.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway. I probably will actually look into Stalker 2, though, to be honest.
Yeah, at least just to watch, because it seems cool. Seems fun.
Yeah. I continue on to video games.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Game of the Year nominations.
Yes.
And
for this year,
there's always like a bunch of different categories that are just so like every game gets nominated.
Right, yeah. Every game gets nominated for something. So
there was one surprise for me, and it was a roguelike card game.
Yeah.
Balatro.
I've heard of this, yep. I've seen a little bit of gameplay.
Did you know that it was one guy?
No, I didn't know that, actually.
I read an article about it because I was watching part of the nominations, and it was like Balatro came up like 17 times. I'm like, what the heck is this? And so did not Megamorph. What was it? Sort of an M. Morphus?
Not Mega Man.
No. Anyway.
Don't know.
There was a bunch of games that came up a bunch, right?
Yeah.
Balatro was this one, and apparently it's one guy, and this is his first game ever.
Wow. Okay.
and he put it up on Steam and like, published it or whatever, independently published it, and just didn't know that it was doing so well.
He just like went to his day job.
He did. And then it's the game of the year.
Yeah.
Or nominated to be like one of the games of the year.
That's funny.
And he's like sitting on like a huge pile of cash now and just doesn't know what to do with it, apparently. Apparently he learned that it was being nominated, like that people were buying it.
No way.
He didn't even check Steam sales or anything like that.
Oh my goodness.
He didn't know that Steam like had like thousands of dollars just sitting for him.
Yeah. And all these positive reviews on his game. Like
he didn't even know.
That's funny.
And at least he claims he didn't know.
Sure.
This is what he says.
It's a good story, nonetheless. So I'll accept it.
And he, has one of the best games ever, apparently this year at least.
I heard. I don't know if it's already out, but he was working on a mobile release too. So like, because it's a little card.
It's a card game.
It's a single player card game that has roguelike elements. So it's like each run is different.
Yeah.
There's enough randomness in the game where you play a run. But it's like you're like playing with like poker cards. I don't know. It's kind of interesting but they have different modifiers, different like upgrades you get. You're trying to get the highest scoring hand, and it's fun.
It looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like I watched a couple of videos and I was like, okay.
I would probably play it, but I don't know if I'd
play it on mobile. I probably wouldn't play it on like PC.
Yeah, for sure. It's it seems like a decent little game to waste a few minutes on here and there.
Yeah.
And it might be game of the year, Balatro.
Yeah.
A lot of people were memeing on it though, of like a card game made it to the game of the year.
Apparently, if you make a good game is a good game.
Exactly. And then I had a lot of people saying the other side of it, like, well, there wasn't that much to choose from this year.
Well, that's true as well.
But I think as it's more to your point of like, good games are good games.
Yeah. I mean, like, imagine if Blackjack came out in a year.
Sure.
I mean, that game has been played for how many hundreds of years now?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like if Texas Hold'em had come out this year.
If they were just like, surprise, Blackjack.
It's like, obviously like one of those types of games is going to be a game of the year style game, even though it's just a card game, because it's a great game.
This is Chess 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Solid game.
Yeah, solid game has been played for how long?
It's got a track record, so.
And it's only because it's gambling. It's like, but that's part of the game.
No, it's like there is a game, there is a strategy there.
Yeah. And you can gamify the game. Like it's.
Yeah.
You can do that.
If Tetris came out, think of that. Like
it would definitely be
revolutionary for video games. So
100%.
Not saying Balatro is going to be Tetris in 20 years, but like it's the potential.
Yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool to see. I don't know. It was just like one guy.
One dude.
I heard he was just out of Canada because I saw compared all of the Game of the Year awards this year. I think were all Japanese. they were all Asian except for him. Mm-hmm. He was Canadian.
Yeah.
Because Black Myth Wukong was Chinese, and then I think everything else was Japanese.
Wasn't there a Korean one?
It didn't get nominated for Game of the Year, but Stellar Blade was Korean.
Stellar Blade.
That might have been in the best action game category.
Yeah, there's so many different categories. I saw Stellar Blade on there, and I thought it was. Mm-hmm. I didn't remember that Stellar Blade was Korean, but I thought there was a Korean one that.
The Game of the Year nominee, Balatro from Canada, right? Black Myth Wukong, China, and then the 4 Japan's was Astrobot, which is Sony. They might have had maybe some of their American guys working on that, but that's the PlayStation dude, the PlayStation mascot game. So it's a cute little platformer game. Elden Ring DLC, The Shadow of the Erd Tree. There was a lot of debate about like, our DLC is allowed to be nominated. It's Elden Ring. They made a whole other 2/3 of a game and released it. So it's a whole game. The next Final Fantasy.
Oh, I forgot Final Fantasy
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be, I think, their second one in like the trilogy of the remakes they're doing. But each one of those has been a full-fledged game. And then Metaphor might have been
Metaphor is the one
yeah.
I was thinking.
Metaphor Refantasia. I don't know how to pronounce the last word. But yeah, it's another Japanese JRPG, turn-based. Yeah, that one's turn-based JRPG. Game of the year. Like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Where's America?
Well, Ubisoft's been sucking one, so
Yeah. And none of the BioWares or EAs or Blizzard. Nobody's doing anything good this year. So
do they have anything announced even?
I couldn't tell you other
Trevor,
than
are we entering the age of the Japanese media?
I'm all for it. Sign me up.
I mean, you got anime and that type of show, and
Got anime. I got anime video games. I'm happy, I guess.
weeb.
It's just a superior art form, Steven.
I mean, like, but seriously, it's like
No, like the Japanese games are killing it right now.
Yeah.
So they're
Japanese cinema's killing it with like Godzilla -1.
Godzilla. Oh yeah. Just like they're selling, they're doing well, they're making good games. No notes.
They're doing great people. Yeah. Anyway, what else we got on the docket here?
Yeah, we've done a lot of video games so far. And Arcane, which was a video game, even though it was a TV show. Tell me about your goal, your carnivore diet. I want to hear all about your experience with this.
Yeah, so I did it for 6 weeks.
6-week carnivore.
Yep, and I did a very, very strict version of it where it was literally just meat and salt the entire time.
Some of them open it up to like at least some seasonings.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of different variations, and some people do like an animal-based diet, which is like meat and like fruit.
Oh, okay.
Right, so like
whatever an animal would eat.
Yeah, it's like meat, fruit, and like honey
off the ground.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like you get a little bit more variety, right? And like
easier to snack on.
Yeah. And mix your flavors together, and put some pepper on there. And
I had an apple steak or whatever. Yeah, you can combine things.
And but I didn't do that. I did pure meat and salt, and it was an interesting experience. I did it for 6 weeks, I think I've said. And I would hesitate to do it again.
Yeah,
for 6 weeks. I think that all of the benefits were had within the first 3.5 weeks.
Oh, interesting.
And then after that, it just kind of was a suck fest.
It was just meh.
Like the benefits continued the entire time.
Sure.
Right? But like the compounding of benefits stopped around week 3, week 4.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
So you didn't notice really any change, and so it's after that.
Week 5 and week 6 just kind of sucked because let me tell you, eating meat only and salt gets old really quick.
Wow,
like
that is interesting to hear. Yeah,
and like I had eggs as well, which are
it's straight protein. Yeah.
So like by the end of it, I was basically I wouldn't eat. I couldn't eat steak anymore.
You were just done with steak.
I was done with steak.
Yeah.
Bacon was like meh.
I'm sure chicken was just bland after a while.
Yeah, but that's like the best part of it.
Okay.
It was just chicken. Just bland chicken, right?
Sure.
There was no flavor to it. It was just bland chicken. So basically, the last 3 weeks, all I ate were chicken and eggs.
Really? Okay.
And like some bacon and a little bit of steak here.
I know you told me like eggs were great. Like you couldn't done it. Eggs you can cook up so many different ways at least.
Yeah.
There's one advantage you have over the animals, the true carnivores. Like I can fry my eggs, I can boil my eggs, I can mix them up, make a little mini egg salad with no seasonings, but like it's just different textures.
Yeah, that's what I did. Without eggs, I would have not been able to do it mentally.
Yeah, I bet.
But
chicken for breakfast, pork for lunch, steak for dinner every day. That's it. That's all I get.
No, I couldn't have done that
because it was no fish either, right? It was.
I could have done fish, but
you
it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
I would, and to only put salt on it, it's like, I don't know.
You need some butter and some
Yeah.
lemon, some herbs.
Yeah, like fish with lemon is like a must. You know?
Definitely.
So yeah, it definitely got rid of my like sugar cravings. So like the reason I did it was because I wanted to see if I could like reset my cravings. I wanted to see if I could reset my hunger levels.
Okay.
And I wanted to basically like adjust my flavor settings, right? So that I wasn't so like, oh, well, this just needs like gallons of A1 sauce on my steak because you know, I need the flavor of the extra vinegar.
Gotta have
right?
all of the sauce.
Yeah. Or whatever other example. Right?
Definitely, yeah.
And so, like, on all of those, it was very successful.
That's cool. That's good to hear, yeah.
My appetite definitely shrunk. My sugar cravings disappeared.
Yeah.
And are gone, basically. I don't need to eat as much anymore. I don't eat as much anymore. So it's been interesting. The other night, Ryan and I went to a place around here called Andy's to go get a treat at night.
The little frozen custards, yep.
Yeah. And normally, prior to this diet, I could go there and get a medium concrete, which is like this massive thing.
Just so much.
It's so much. I could pound it.
Yeah.
I could eat the entire thing. And it's probably like you could easily be satisfied and save 3/4 of it for the next day.
The next time.
And then the next time you could be satisfied and save half of it.
Because that medium, that's 1,000 calories. Easy.
Oh, easy. Oh, yeah. Easy. Easily.
Because then they add in all the little candies and the syrups and stuff as well to mix it up.
Easily 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
But we went there and I had a hard time finishing a small one, which is like substantially smaller, right? And I couldn't finish it. My dog finished the rest of it.
Nice.
So like that was interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Like previously,
there was a very obvious before and after.
Yeah, because I could have easily pounded a medium.
The medium, yeah.
And like the difference between a small and a medium is like substantial there. Yeah. Right. So
that is really cool to think of. Like, yeah, you couldn't even fathom a large. Now you're like,
oh, not even close.
You're like that. Why does that even exist? No. Like that's impossible.
Even the small, I'm like, I don't think I would need this again. Like I like get a child sized one.
Or like share one with the wife
or whatever. Same thing on Thanksgiving Day. We went over to my in-laws. And we weren't eating there. We were eating at my family's Thanksgiving, but we went over there just to say hi. And we were just chatting, and I grabbed a can of Coke. I like Coke. And normally, like a can of soda is like, glug 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 glug. That's gone.
On to the next one. Yeah.
I could very easily just chug a soda of any type and then go to the next one, right? And I didn't finish that soda. Like I mean, I could have forced myself, obviously.
Yeah, but you just didn't feel like...
I didn't. I was just sitting there and I was enjoying it, just being like a little sip, like a sip here, just while chatting, just a little...
Yeah.
And then... So like that type of thing is very interesting. Lost a decent amount of weight on it as well.
That's good, yeah.
Which
positive
is good.
How's the like? I guess you did kind of mention your cravings, but like the snacking, I'm sure when you could only eat meat, I'm sure you weren't
non-existent.
Yeah, it's like you only eat at your meals every few hours.
Yeah, and even that there was days, like sets of days where like non-forced intermittent fasting, basically, or non-forced fasting. Like I would just be like, I'd go and I would wake up and I'm like, I'm not hungry, and I feel fine. I wouldn't be hungry at lunch, so I wouldn't eat just because I was like not hungry. Like I didn't want to force myself to eat like chicken.
Yeah,
like just plain chicken and salt.
If you're not hungry, yeah.
And then like at dinner time, I'd have like 2 eggs, 2 like boiled eggs or whatever.
Yeah, so that's what you mean. Like
so it's like
accidental intermittent fasting.
Yeah, it's like the entire day I had like, what is that, 180 calories or something like that. An egg is 70 calories, 140 calories, or whatever it was, right? Like under 200 calories for the day.
Right.
And it's like, and I felt fine. That was one interesting thing, is that I felt great.
Yeah.
I felt fantastic.
Without all of the chemicals and the nutrients that you need.
I felt amazing.
Yeah, you feel fine.
I did. So one thing that I did to make sure that I was getting enough electrolytes is I would, in my water every morning, I'd put a little pinch of salt in the water.
Yeah. Easy.
Just to make some electrolyte water, basically. And it didn't, there's a couple days where I put too much in and it was like, that is salty water.
Salt water.
But there, most of the days it was like, I couldn't even tell, right? That there was like a little bit of salt in there.
Sure, yeah.
Just to make sure I got enough electrolytes. If I wasn't eating enough, that at least I got some salt in me that day.
That's good, yeah. And then you take like supplements anyway, right? For like your vitamins or your daily men's health thing or something.
Overall, like I can recommend it to people for sure.
Yeah, you're like, it was a positive experience.
Yeah, I would probably say go 1 month at a time.
Do it a month, yeah.
If you're like really unhealthy, like I was, maybe longer. I think that 6 weeks wasn't detrimental.
But at the very least, try a month.
I think you have to do 4 weeks.
Sure.
I think if you're going to do it, you have to do 4 weeks, solid 4 weeks. I think that's like the point where I was like, oh, there are benefits to this. This isn't just a suck fest.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the benefits.
I'm feeling it.
I've, at that point I had lost a lot of weight, and like in the 6 weeks I was down 32 pounds.
That's cool. Yeah, that was going to be my next question if you didn't mind sharing this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very impressive.
Yeah, it was good. One thing, and this might be a little bit TMI, but your bowel movements are not going to be very pleasant for the first little bit. Yeah. Because no fiber. Takes a minute for your body to get used to it.
I on my diet, very, very similar to that. I'm like, your bowel movements are going to be different. Surprise, it's very affected by your diet. Yeah. So it's going to be different.
Yeah. So that was interesting. So yeah, it takes some getting used to as well. Like I definitely thought I was going to be hangry and pissy because I wasn't getting sugar, because everyone is addicted to sugar. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and so I have no doubt.
And with sugar withdrawals are a real thing, and you get pissy on sugar withdrawals, right?
Your body craves things.
And I was expecting to have about a week of pissiness and sugar withdrawals and headaches and things like that.
Especially that first week on any new big change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I didn't have that at all.
Oh, okay.
Which was surprising.
Sure.
One thing that I wish I would have done is get my blood drawn before and after.
Oh,
to see if like hormone levels, or one thing that I did notice is that I would love to have seen like my blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
Fasted blood sugar levels prior and post, just to see if it had done anything to like reduce my insulin level in my blood.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't eating any sugar, so there was no reason to have any insulin.
Just curious.
There's no sugar, there's no insulin, right?
Is your body making it?
So I really would have been interested to see if my stress hormones would have gone down, though.
Yeah,
because
right.
That's one thing. I was so unstressed the entire time.
That's fun. That's cool, though.
It's very interesting. I felt fantastic, and my stress levels were reduced substantially.
Steven's just a chill guy.
I was, and like my wife can attest to this. My mood, I was happy, but I'm generally like a pretty upbeat guy.
Sure.
But I wasn't getting ticked off at anything as much, which was interesting. I don't know if that is just because of the stress levels being reduced.
Yeah.
And like my situation in life is changing, and so it's like, like I have a job that I love.
Yeah, so maybe there were some other factors at play.
There could be some other factors where it's like
we're headed into the holidays, Thanksgiving. So
yeah, exactly.
You're thinking about that, but
and like I feel like I'm in a pretty good place in life in terms of, I got a nice place to live. I'm, reasonably well off financially.
Sure,
like
yeah.
I'm not
Got the wife, got the dog.
Yeah, it's like there's not much more, hang out with my friends. I find fulfillment in my hobbies. Like there's not much where it's like
life is good.
Yeah. So it's like maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
But maybe 7 weeks ago I would have said something different where it's like, oh, I feel like I need to blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm very. I mean, there's still obviously things, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone has.
Everyone has.
And like I still have like
outside factors,
internal pressure to do other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like it's very. I don't know.
Manageable.
Yeah. Like in a good way.
Yep.
It's like stress in a good way, because stress isn't a bad thing.
No, yeah, and that is normal. Like outside factors come up that your body should respond to, and it should push you to respond to those things.
Yeah.
That's positive stress. Like, oh, cool, I need to do this thing, or as you said, kind of the drive to do more, to work on other stuff or whatever. That's normal. So until it gets overwhelming, and it shouldn't be like stressful, what we think of when we say that word.
Yeah, I do think that all the chemicals that we throw into our bodies are stress causing in a background noise stress,
Mm-hmm.
so that when something stressful comes up, our body's like, I'm already freaking out.
Yeah.
Like I can't do anything else.
It's already all the chemicals at max, all the stress hormones.
And so
everything.
you're like trying to fight through a new stressor.
Yeah.
It's like your body's already at an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you get a 3 out of 10 on the stress level, which is like a non-thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like at an 11 out of 10, and it's like,
I can't handle this. Yeah.
But if you reduce your background noise stress,
Yeah.
which I think this diet helps. I'm not positive if I'm going to do this yet.
I was going to ask, what's your next steps? Your next goal? Are you?
I don't know.
Do something else next time, or obviously just kind of chill for a bit and.
Yeah, I'm going to think through it. I think the biggest thing that I want to do now is like start like working out.
Okay.
One of the biggest things was that like obviously I'm a fan of food, right?
Sure.
Good food.
Yeah.
Before this diet, it was quantity over quality.
Yeah.
And I think quality over quantity now,
mm-hmm.
mostly.
Good.
But there's still like a calorie aspect of food, right?
Yeah.
And like a quality food still be very high calorically.
Definitely.
Even if it's like good for you, right? And, there's no processed crap in it or anything like that. It can still be a fairly high calorie food.
A lot of vegetables are very high calorie. Yeah.
Carrots, for example.
Carrots. Yeah. Corn is barely a vegetable.
But I'm a huge fan of carrots, right?
Yeah.
And so like to roast some carrots to have with like a meal,
mm-hmm.
like that's fairly high calorie if you're going to have, like let's say you have 2 large carrots as like a total, right?
Yeah.
They're, sliced up and broiled or whatever you do. It's like, that's not insubstantial.
Yeah, you got to account for that.
And so I think what I want to do is just work out hard enough to offset anything that I eat.
Nice, yeah.
Which we'll see how that goes. I haven't planned that out yet. This is all theoretical right now.
No,
right?
I think it's good. Yes,
and just so that I don't have to count calories, because I hate counting calories.
Yeah, sure.
I hate counting macros. I hate all that type of stuff.
Yep. It can be a chore, definitely.
It just takes the joy out of food
mm-hmm.
for me, and I am someone who likes food as like a thing, not just as like I like to eat because I'm a fatso. It's like no, it's like I enjoy reading about food. I enjoy learning about food. I watch food videos on YouTube.
mm-hmm.
I enjoy crafting recipes in my head and writing them down and everything like that. I have a note section on my phone for it. Like it's one of my hobbies, and so if I could just be conscious of what I'm eating, but like just not have to like, well, how many ounces of potato was that?
Yeah.
And was that a Yukon Gold potato, which is starchier than a, whatever potato?
How much butter did I add? 1 extra ounce, 1 less?
Yeah. Okay. Well, if I can just like not worry about that.
I'm trying to make this a low calorie recipe, so we'll do less cream cheese.
Yeah. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So offset stressing about it. stressing about food, because that's what you don't want to do with anything. Yeah.
And I think that's a healthier way to do it as well.
Yeah.
It's like you can definitely go way into the weeds on counting calories, and then you like it's just not enjoyable at all, and you just like hate to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like
you dread
we
it.
live in a society where like we've solved hunger.
Sure, yeah. And I
haven't done that for millions of years, but we've done it.
Yeah.
So like, how about we enjoy the fruits of our human labor?
Yeah, I see what you mean. And I don't have to dive into this, but just dip the toe in of like, generally humanity, you used to just kind of eat whatever you wanted because you would just burn it all off. Like humans generally, you were running constantly from predators or fighting for your own survival. And now we're just chill. We're a lot more casual. You go to an office job 8 hours a day, like you're sitting, you're not burning as many calories.
Yeah.
Thus, gyms are very popular because people need kind of an excuse to go do something physical because you don't get that naturally. But I think, because of that, you have to like think a little bit too much about what you eat. But there should be kind of a better balance where you can enjoy food, but you don't have to stress about the calories or getting fat. Like abs are made in the kitchen. I don't know who came up with that, but that's something my brother always told me. But like, you also just need a little bit of exercise, even just movement. So
yeah. I think walking is the best one.
Yeah,
like go on a nice evening walk with your significant other and your dog.
You need a balance.
It's like it's such a game changer. And one of the best things about walks, in my opinion, especially if you're doing it with like your significant other, if you're going to go on a walk, even if it's by yourself, turn the music off.
Drop the phone. Yeah.
Turn the phone off. I don't even take my phone on walks.
No, yeah, you don't need it.
I don't even take my phone on walks.
Clear your mind.
Just go and like, Ryan and I will go on like a 2-mile walk in the evening, right? 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. It's dark out. The sun's not up, so you're not like sweating.
Right.
Nice and chill, and walk and like just start talking.
Yeah.
And like, there's no distraction with your phone.
In the moment,
you're just sitting there, and it's very chill, and it gives your body just like you're moving, so your blood's flowing. Your brain is being able to like get all that crap out of it because the blood's flowing through it more and more and more. You're working the muscles. It
feels good.
Go on walks. That's the takeaway of this episode, Trevor.
New goal, new episode, or new, yeah.
That's what
approved.
Thanksgiving morning, my dad always goes on a huge long walk.
Really?
To go get the Black Friday ads.
Oh, that's
from,
right.
Like the gas station or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, pick up the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always had to do that when I was young. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun. So. Yeah, so you mentioned doing that with your dog. I think on Thanksgiving or yesterday, I was like, I probably should have done that. I didn't just go on a walk.
Yep.
I was driving to my parents, and we drove by the high school, and I saw the track, and I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, you see every Thanksgiving morning on the wrestling team, some people do turkey trots of like, you go on a nice walk or a jog before your Thanksgiving feast. Yeah, we had turkey sprints.
Same distance as everyone's turkey trot.
You're just
sprinting the entire time.
And I was like reflecting, as I'm driving with my wife, like, yeah, that was nice. Like turkey sprints. It was fun. We're just sprinting until we just puke. And then the coach was like, all right, enjoy your Thanksgiving dinner. And she was like, no, you said that was a good thing? Like, that's a good memory? I'm like, well, yeah. She's like, I was with you until you said you were puking. Like, well, it's a good memory. It
won't ever repeat it.
Yeah. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I don't want to do it again.
No.
I don't.
No, turkey sprints was horrible, man.
Turkey sprints.
Yeah, that sucked.
But a little bit of movement was the point, the moral.
Yeah.
Oh, good memories.
Good memories.
Not good experiences. In the moment.
In the moment, it sucked.
Yeah.
But like character building.
Oh, absolutely. Builds character, and not even the meme, not even a joke. Like actually builds character.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing a sport, doing some physical activity.
Yeah, I went on a 4-mile walk with Django on Thursday morning. It was good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was just bored out of my mind because I woke up at 4:30 like normal.
Yep. Like, I need to do something.
And it was like 7 o'clock. And I was just like, I've been up for 2.5 hours, and like I've done like chores. I've fed the dog. Like I've done everything already. Like what am I supposed to do with the rest of it? I didn't want to. I told you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hop on video games at 7:00 in the morning
Because then you just be on them all day.
Yeah, it's like I didn't want to do that.
Yep.
So I decided to go on a long walk, and then I went over to my parents' house after that and hung out with them for 2 hours or so, an hour and a half or so.
What do we do when we don't have jobs to go to?
I know, for real. Like this, it's Saturday, but it's felt like I feel like I've had like a whole week off.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Same here.
2 days.
2 days.
Like 2.5.
Yeah. I'm probably like a safe Saturday to do some chores after we record here, and then I should probably crack open my book, honestly. Like I've already had enough screen time for the weekend because I've already had 2 days of screen time. Like
same.
Just open a book, chillax.
Yeah.
I'll take the dog on a walk, something.
My game Satisfactory was yelling at me yesterday. it has this funny thing. It says it gives you 2 hour. It gives you a timer of 2 hours.
Really?
Every 2 hours, there's a message that pops up and goes. Doo-doo.
It's like, hey, you've been playing.
Hey, you've been playing for 2 hours.
No way.
You can take a 15-minute break.
That's awesome. That's so fun.
And then at 4 hours, it says, if you haven't, in 4 hours, it says, ding, you've been on for 4 hours. Take a break.
Wow. That's cool. That's like obviously non-invasive because it's a video game. You can just ignore it if you want. But that's cool. That's respectful of like at work. I get that on all of the computers. It'll tell you of like, if you've been like typing or mousing excessively, it tells you just take like a short little break. And then I think every 50 minutes to an hour, it tells you like it locks your screen up because it's a work computer.
Does it really?
It locks it up and it's like, yeah, go take a hike, like go walk around. Or
Does
at
it
least
have like a timer where it's like,
it has,
get in for like.
As a timer, you can ignore it because sometimes you're like in the middle of a meeting and it pops up and you're like, all right, come on, get out of here. Like I'm busy presenting or something. But so it's not super invasive because you can shut it down, but like for the most part, like it's good. Might as well. And like our managers or bosses encourage you, like, no, yeah, like take your break, like go on a walk, like at least stand, like so do something physical. So that's kind of funny that a video game is popping up telling you that as well. Like, hey, this is important to go take a break.
Yeah. Back
when I played World of Warcraft was really funny. You'd see just random players running all over the giant world, right? And there was a guild called Posture Check. So when you pass by a player, you can see under their name what guild they're in. And so that the whole point of that guild, those players, was just like they were just there for the role play of like anytime you pass by somebody, you're just like posture check. And they're like, oh, thank you. And so you like, it reminds you to like sit up in your chair and like be more ergonomic. So that was always funny. Like, hey, those guys posture check. They're all right. Like helping us all out. Just some good little like healthy practices.
It's always funny. I always catch myself like when I'm playing the game. It's like I'll start off like just like relax and chill.
State.
In like a very like vertical. My spine is very nice and aligned.
Slightly reclined is good.
And I'm sitting there and then all of a sudden I just like start slowly until I'm like gremlining,
just like
trying to like line up this railroad track with like
hunchback mode. You gotta like you're trying to like zoom in. You're like getting closer to the screen. Like I can't.
And it's funny. Sometimes I'm like, and then I'll like Ryan will come in and I'll be like, oh, I'm just gremlining right now, like, and like I can feel my spine like.
Yeah, I think you need some shock. You need something to take you out of it. And you're like, oh, right. Yeah, I need to.
I can't cave troll. No cave troll.
My problem is with my wrist, my mouse. I'll like because the arms of my chair are here, right? So it's like WASD, and then the mouse. That's normal. It's what it's supposed to be. But I do have an extra long mouse pad, which is maybe bad. Maybe I should take it away. Because sometimes I'll just end up like my mouse is over here, and I'm like, and again, you need something to take you out of it. I'm like, what am I doing? Why? I just got to get this, or like it'll be tilted over there too, and I'm like, stop. I'm not even on the armrest anymore. This is more comfortable. Like, how did I end up over there?
I always like to put my keyboard and mouse in the corner of like
an L desk,
because then I can have my arms on.
Oh, you've told me that, yeah.
On the desk itself, and so like I just sit there and
lounging.
Yeah, it's nice. That's how I like to do it.
That's comfortable.
I've done the straight desk forward facing, and your arm just like drops off sometimes.
It's supposed to be on the armrest, just like level with the table, but it doesn't work. It doesn't ever work, no. Unless you have a constant reminder. Like
That's funny that you're like,
Always my wrist, my arm always goes that, and I start to feel it in my wrist sometimes, or like you, my wife comes in, just this okay, there's a serious thing that can lead to long-term injuries. Let's be safe gamers.
yeah,
As a PSA, watch your posture.
yeah. Alrighty,
Card of the week, finish it up.
yes, sir.
Last segment of the day. So I wasn't sure which one I wanted to do. I've been playing a lot of Pauper recently, or thinking about a lot of Pauper and proxying some decks and whatnot. Pauper's just great, man. All commons, non-rotating format. There's a lot you can do in the
non-rotating until they print Heir Apparent.
Right, yeah, until they print new cards. But at least nothing comes in and destroys the meta, which is kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wanted to show off one from Modern Horizons 3, which arguably does have stronger commons because it was a strong set. That's kind of the one of the decks that's really popular in Pauper right now is the combo deck with the lizard. That's kind of not taken over, but they had a big Pauper event like in Europe this past week, and of the top 8, I think like 5 of them were this combo deck, 4 or 5. So people were like, all right, maybe we're looking at that combo, and maybe we ban a piece of it in Pauper or something, just to keep the meta healthy, and I'm all for it. But it's a cool format because it is kind of like you can do a lot, but you still have to remember that lightning bolt's in the format. So it does limit your options a little bit. Lightning bolt, 1 mana, 3 damage to anything. You do always have to build around that. Like, my opponent is probably going to have a lightning bolt. So in that case, it's like more powerful than standard sometimes, which is kind of interesting because the removal in standard isn't always premium. But I found a cool one from Modern Horizons 3 that I hadn't heard of. I was looking at it for some sideboard options for one of my red decks. But it's cool. It's very like anti blue in theory for red, so I always like seeing these ones. It is a Siege Smash. It's a 1 and a red instant. The art's kind of cool. It's just like a big giant destroying a siege tower.
Oh yeah, that is sick.
Siege Smash. But first ability it has on it is Split Second.
Oh, nice.
So as long as it's on the stack, nobody else can cast spells or activate abilities. You go say, I'm going to cast this Siege Smash. Your Siege Smash will resolve. Nobody can counterspell that or do anything else.
Yeah.
So it has and then it's got 2 modes on it. So it's not only is it versatile and like, I don't want.
Is it common?
It's a common.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 mana, Split Second. Choose 1, destroy target artifact.
Okay.
Or target creature gets +3/+2 and trample until end of turn.
That's pretty okay.
That's pretty okay, yeah. And it's like,
especially for Split Second on there too?
For Split Second, yeah. If it was just a 2 mana spell that's like an artifact or a creature buff, like okay, yeah, that's fine. But like also the Split Second, just a little cherry on top. It's like no blue player is going to counterspell you.
Yeah.
They can't kill your creature in response. They could wait to kill your creature afterwards, but then they'd play out their hand, and then maybe you can play another spell. There's some shenanigans that you can play with this one.
Yeah.
If you're going to destroy their artifact, they can't like do something with their artifact first. Their artifact gets destroyed.
Yeah. You going to put that in your hot dog deck?
I'm thinking about it. At the very least in the sideboard. As I said, I was kind of looking for like some better sideboard options for that deck. So I like to buff the hot dogs. It's the namesake. I like to buff up their power and give trample. But then also the Split Second helps if maybe there's some blue players out there.
Yeah.
So
that's a pretty cool card.
Siege Smash. I was like, Modern Horizons 3 kind of came and went for me, and I've totally missed this common. Very strong.
Yeah. Very cool.
So
very cool.
My card of the week.
There it is. The hot dog trampler boy.
Oh yeah. Hot dogs are going strong.
You've made some pretty fun Pauper decks, I will say.
I've even proxied one or I think one more to show off as well. Next time we play, it's pretty cool. Pretty fun.
Alrighty, well, there it is.
Till next time.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.